Hey, welcome into the Newport This Week video podcast series. I'm Bill Bartholomew. Every week here, we go deep into the things that make Aquidneck Island unique, special, and magical in every way, shape, or form. I probably should formulate a better intro so I'm not making it up off the top of my head. But someone who doesn't make things up off the top of their head is Bari Freeman from Bike Newport, who joins us on this week's episode of the podcast. Barry, thanks for your time.
Thanks for being here. And I think I create things imaginatively as much as you do. I think
Okay.
that's how we all make progress.
There we go. I feel relieved and validated suddenly. So, Bike Newport, obviously an institution on the island, and for anybody who doesn't know Bike Newport, they may have seen signage or hear about it. Just the executive summary for people who are unfamiliar with what you do.
Sure. We work to both improve and encourage biking and walking. Biking, walking, and transit are sort of inherently linked, as options to single occupancy vehicles. And, our work is to make it possible for people, especially to travel short distances without a car, so that we're having more enjoyment. We're helping to relieve traffic congestion and carbon, and we're just having a better experience overall. All of Aquidneck Island, Newport, Middletown, and Portsmouth. So improving and encouraging biking for both transportation and recreation. And we're busy at work on all of those fronts.
And they are all part of a strategy, really, of multimodality that is just so incredibly important to consider as we, for so many different reasons. It's not exclusively climate, it's also, in many ways, urban planning and just connecting people with options. And you do such a great job with that work. You have some events coming up. That's the impetus for our discussion this week. Let's get right to those, inclusive of one this weekend.
Yes, this weekend is, I believe, the seventh annual Elliot's Ride for everyone. It is what we call an open road event, which is when the road gets closed to cars and open to people biking, walking, rolling, strolling, exploring. It's not a start and finish ride. It's an area, it's a geography. It's most of Ocean Avenue in Newport, the iconic Ocean Drive, where people are used to passing through in a car. We can now, with no cars, families are out, kind of like the picture, the illustration behind me, just enjoying the open road, the coastal environment, the birds, the rocks, the boulders, anything that they want to do along Ocean Avenue and Hazard Road. It's about 3.5 miles of open road. It's well protected by marshals, and the Newport police are out helping to ensure safety along the way. And it's 3 hours once a year from 9 a.m. to noon this Saturday of enjoying Newport's iconic Ocean Drive without cars. So it's not to miss. Um, the reason most people don't bike as much as they'd like to is concern about being on the road with cars. And while we're working really hard towards establishing infrastructure that's separated and safe and comfortable, so people can ride to the destinations that they want to, this is that experience. Elliot's Ride is that experience. I have a little poster here if you see them up and around about Elliot's Ride, bikenewportri.org/. Elliot's-ride. You'll find it, bikenewportri.org. It's on our homepage. We just encourage everybody to come out. It's just more fun than you can imagine.
How do people register for this?
So you can register online, and we do appreciate people registering. There is no cost for this. There are several entry points at either end of Ocean Avenue and at the top of Hazard Road, where we gather in the beginning at Rogers High School. There's parking, at all of these places, as well as parking in town or parking at the surface lot. Get on your bike, the sooner the better. We do ask people to register. It is again on our website, bikenewportri.org, or all the way to /Elliott's-ride. And that helps us to count how many people are coming and to plan accordingly. So we do ask people to register. There is no cost for this. It's very much a free community event.
We're recording this on a beautiful Tuesday. It's absolutely gorgeous out, blue skies, and it's summertime. It feels like it, although I guess there's going to be more rain approaching, but whatever. It's summer, and that means a lot of events on the horizon beyond Elliot's Ride. So, what else is scheduled for this summer, and what do you want people to know?
Oh, well, there's a whole new campaign. I was just pulling out the flag for you, called Get There by Bike. That's upside down.
Yeah.
Get There by Bike is an initiative to help people to get wherever they're going by bicycle. So you'll be seeing a lot of that. We're, of course, encouraging people again to bike to the festivals where we see up to 1,600 bicycles a day. Actually, we had a peak of 1,800 bicycles a day at the Folk Festival. We want to see people biking to more of those events. All summer long, we have bike camp, we have bike rides, the full moon rides. Once a month. And at the end of the summer on August 23rd, we have the now iconic 10 spot ride, which people can also sign up for on our website. And that's a really fun full day, 5 hours of biking around to different locations in Newport where there's live music and food from a local restaurant in a beautiful setting times 10. So that's called the 10 spot ride. That's on August 23rd. And, it's a summer of supporting people getting where they want to go by bike. We also work with Newport Film to help support bikes, people getting there by bike with the mansions and with Rough Point and with the Tennis Hall of Fame and their tournaments. Wherever you need to go in Newport or on Aquidneck Island, consider the possibility of getting there by bike. It'll be a wonderful experience and it'll reduce the number of cars and the traffic congestion and absolutely reduce your costs because parking averages $30 wherever you're going. So, and bikes a big, zero. And you're making a contribution to yourself, your healthy environment, yada yada yada. Let's get there by bike.
I couldn't agree more with that. There's been efforts over these last years, and people who are listening to or watching this will probably realize that there are bike lanes that have been installed, for example, Broadway. What's the overall multimodality plan in Newport look like right now? And are you satisfied with the direction that the city is trending in terms of multimodality with transit, public transit, with which actually includes ferries as well, if you're being honest
Mhm.
about it, but certainly with buses and the trolleys, but also with walking, with biking, scooting, whatever the case may be. Are we heading in the right direction right now?
So, yeah, I really like the way you asked the question because we're very excited about the direction that conversations are heading, that plans are heading. We're talking about all of those things, the Newport Transportation Master Plan, the Bicycle Mobility Plan, the Congestion Reduction Plan. They're all heading in the right direction. They all say all the right things, but we haven't yet done it. And, until it's prioritized, the money isn't going to be there to see these things through. So while we're working very hard to improve the landscape through education, the cultural landscape through education and conversations and classes and discussions and gathering of people's opinions, we need to move these things forward. So when we're talking about bike lanes, if a city budget or a town budget doesn't have the money for the white paint, let alone the green paint, to indicate that there are bikes, there, we're not making progress. We have to make sure that the funding is there and that the impetus is there and that the priority is there for the multimodal. You know what's going on with the RIPTA budget. We're talking about a budget in every aspect. There's no question that the cost versus return for active mobility, for biking and walking, is very low cost, very high return compared to, highway dollars, for example. But we're talking about paint and we're talking about communicating who is there on the road. And we're not going to get the people who aren't biking because they're afraid to bike until we have separation. While we can make progress with the people who are already biking to be safer by communicating, through signals that we have with paint, we need to move all of these things forward. And the three municipalities on Aquidneck Island are working together to come up with demonstration projects so that people can experience these on Valley Road, on East Main Road, on Spring Street. None of these are firm, but these are the areas that we're having conversations about. What can we do to make it safer, make it more possible for people to use modes other than single occupancy vehicles to go short distances? If 1 in 4 people in a car on Aquidneck Island is traveling less than a mile, that's something that we can address.
Absolutely.
Half are under 2 miles.
Yeah.
80% are under 4 miles. Like these are bikeable and walkable distances, so we can make progress.
Yeah.
And
It's a
so,
real opportunity for progress when you talk about Aquidneck Island. There's no question about it.
yeah.
Barry Freeman, how can people find out more about Bike Newport in general? Like, one more time on that website.
Yes, bikenewportri.org is our website. You can also go to rideisland.org, which is looking at the plan for Ride Island, which is Aquidneck Island. And and sign up, just scroll right down to the bottom and sign up for the newsletter, and you can stay apprised and be part of these discussions and the progress that goes with them.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Bill.